Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Nicole B. Jackson Show. I am your host tonight, Nicole B. Jackson. Well, folks, it is officially summer, and although most of us are preparing for America's Independence celebration this weekend with parades and barbecues and fireworks, especially if you're here in Georgia, because now as of July 1st, fireworks are legal here in the state of Georgia, so we know that you're ready and declaring your independence. And here on the show this month, we're talking about the cost of freedom. And we're going to look at various avenues of freedom in your life, whether it's career, lifestyle, or health. That's what we're going to be looking at. So guys, be sure to stay with us each and every Wednesday as we talk about the cost of freedom. Tonight's show is for those of you out there who've ever had a dream or an aspiration of being your own business owner. That's right, an entrepreneur. And we know that sometimes all that sparkles isn't gold, and that sometimes as an entrepreneur, if you're not working, you might not be eating. And so tonight we've got great guests lined up to talk to you about the cost of freedom when it comes to being an entrepreneur and operating and owning your own business. Our first guest is an exceptional photographer who has mastered his technique in capturing the imagery of families, community leaders, public figures, celebrities, and newlyweds. He has literally tied the knot between his business ventures and his passion by also creating a men's bow tie and accessory line. To date, he has provided countless clients and organizations with everlasting memories through his photography work. Please welcome the bow tie photographer, Mr. Cliff Robinson, to the show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You have write my bio on my website. I really appreciate that.
Literally tied the knot between your business ventures.
Yes, I have. It's a pretty good story.
Okay.
One Easter, I was hired to do a baby shower at the Swan House in Buckhead.
Beautiful
and I
place.
thought I was going to do my little seersucker suit on with my bow tie for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And everybody kept complimenting, especially the ladies. Say, I love your bow tie, I love your bow tie. That Sunday, I said, let me try it again.
Okay.
Went to church, wore a bow tie. All the ladies, I love your bow tie.
Ladies love bow ties.
So that birthed the bow tie photographer, and it took off ever since then.
Wow, look at there. And wouldn't even consider that a coincidence. That was destiny.
Divine intervention.
Destiny, definitely. Well, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. And you started off in photography, and now you've joined those ventures together with the Clifford Franklin bow tie collection.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about your start and getting, I guess, the momentum and the courage to step up to the plate and become an entrepreneur. How did that go for you?
Well, it kind of started when I used to work for Singular Wireless, a.k.a. AT&T, a.k.a. Bell South Mobility.
I was going to say Singular. You're telling both of our ages for that.
Right. Sitting at the cubicle, and honestly, I was hustling cell phones, and I did not like the way it was going as far as the customer service. I didn't think I was providing people with a service that they needed.
Okay.
And I was doing photography when I went on vacation. I always took pictures. And one day I was sitting in my cubicle. I was talking with my mom. I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do photography. Okay. Anything you want to do, get a degree in. So I went to school to the Art Institute of Atlanta.
So you went back to school?
Went back to school.
Okay.
Art Institute of Atlanta. Got a degree in photographic imagery, and that kind of led me into doing photography full time.
Wow. And so you pretty much answered my next question, because I was going to ask you, are you a full-time entrepreneur, or are you still working a 9-to-5?
Okay. Let me explain this to the people out there listening. There is a difference between being a full-time entrepreneur and being self-employed.
Okay.
Self-employed gives you the opportunity to make decisions as far as your coming and going, your schedule, and you don't have to worry about the insurance and things of that nature. When you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to make allowances. For me, I took on a client that was first contracted me out and then offered me a full-time position doing the same thing.
Wow.
And I took that job because of the benefit package.
Oh, you gotta have the benefits.
The health, dental, the whole 9 yards, stock options, the whole thing. I took that on because I needed the health benefits because I didn't have any
Okay.
as a self-employed individual. But it also allowed me to get additional income in order to facilitate my business ventures.
Yes.
So now I'm in a position that when that day comes, I can step out and just do what I do because I've had to build that financial base as well as get those benefit packages. So.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that. I was just having a conversation with LB actually about that process of having to make some money to be able to fund your dream, because the money doesn't just come out of the sky. And so I appreciate that you called it making allowances. And sometimes people look at it as failure because they can't just step out right away and get going, or if they try and it doesn't work out and they have to, whether it's contract or go back to a 9 to 5, they look down on themselves and feel like they're not doing what they're meant to do because they have to make those allowances. So I appreciate you presenting that information. And I guess, since you've mentioned that you're doing the contracting work, you've been able to maintain a pretty good flow of business to, like you say, do what you need to do until
Until that time comes where I can just step out.
Good.
So, but yes, that happens as far as networking because it's a peace of mind when you know that your lights are going to be on when you get home. Food's going to be in the refrigerator. All your bills are getting paid.
Yes.
And that is what my 9 to 5 it does for me right now. So when I go out there and I'm networking and I'm shaking hands and I'm meeting potential clients, I'm not stressed.
Yes.
And that alone right there will help you get those clients, but also put you in a position to meet new and better clients.
Now let's talk about the networking piece, because that's often, you, especially here in Atlanta, there is a networking social event almost every day of the week. And there's a lot of business cards being passed around. What is your idea or opinion about those types of events? And what's the best way as an entrepreneur or a self-employed person to really maximize those types of events?
First of all, you have to decide what type of clientele you want to cater toward. If you're not trying to, let's say, if you're not trying to hire purple people or trying to get employed by purple people, why would you go to a purple people event?
Very good question.
If you're not trying to get hired or get business from orange people, why would you go to an orange people event? So you need to decide as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, what are your clientele? They don't look for the money aspect. You need to look for the potential and the growth potential of those potential clients and your business.
Yes.
Because they have to be that's vibe with one another.
Yeah.
So that's where you should gauge which event you will go to. And when you get there, don't be a wallflower. Shake somebody's hand. Put your card in somebody's hand. I've always been told, no one knows what you can do until you tell them what you can do or show them what you can do.
Wow.
So you can't just hope that somebody's going to come to you just because you're cute or just because you dress fly. You need to go out there and make yourself known and make yourself available.
That's true. And I know that was one of the things that I initially struggled with in the beginning of trying to launch my career was that, wanting, feeling comfortable with actually going and introducing myself and saying, hey, this is what I do, and not feeling arrogant about it, but really truly utilizing it as an opportunity to network and to speak about what you do. Because you're right, if you don't tell someone, they won't know. They won't know.
That is true.
So now let's talk about these beautiful photography images that you create. What is your inspiration? How do you come up with the poses and then the pictures? Where do you find your inspiration?
It comes from passion.
Okay.
It starts with passion. It starts with being blessed because what a lot of people don't understand as a photographer, especially doing family portraits, doing weddings, even doing corporate events, it is a privilege as well as a blessing that someone trusts you enough to capture that moment. That's what you're doing. You capture moments. Most of the stuff you can't redo.
That's true.
You can't recapture that emotion. So it comes from a passion. My family was always big in pictures. We have photo albums from generations. And I try to implement that with my clients as far as, trying to capture a moment that they can look back on and like, oh, I remember where I was at and what happened during that time. So it all comes from a passion. And a friend of mine, who's just another photographer, always said, shoot what you love. And I kind of took that on when I started doing my photography.
Okay. And you mentioned the memories, because you can't go back and get them. It's like when you hear a song back from the day.
Right.
When that song comes on, that's my jam. You can instantly go back to where you were, what you were doing, who else might have been there, the feeling that you were feeling at that time. All of that comes back to you. And it's the same thing when you look at a photo, especially a Cliff Robinson photo.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Exactly.
And when you're looking at those images there and it takes you back, what advice would you give to a budding photographer or a fashion designer as such that's looking to step into their dream, their calling, their passion?
Pretty much anything you want to do, you need to do your research. You need to be knowledgeable about what you want to do. Find out who is the best person in that field in your area. Shadow them, look at their work. Also, go out there and get the information. This is the age of the internet. Information is everywhere.
That's true.
It's everywhere, and it's free. Some quality information is free of charge, but you have to go out there and get it. You can't wait for somebody to hand it to you. And that goes for if you're being a photographer, or if you're being a hairstylist or makeup artist, or even a fashion designer. You can't pigeonhole yourself by just what's available within your hands reach. You got to go out there and grab it. You got to go out there and get it. And look outside of your area code. Too many people I've noticed here in Atlanta
That's a very good point.
want to shoot or design or be like somebody else here in Atlanta. I'm looking in Europe when I'm looking for photography inspiration for pictures. I want to see how they're styling, they're shooting over there, especially when it comes to the men's fashion. I'm always on the European website somewhere trying to see what is hot over there.
And what's the next thing?
What's the next thing? Because I want to be in the forefront of it. And that's what you have to do.
And that's a perfect segue into my last question for you. So it would be silly of me to ask if that's a Clifford Franklin bow tie you have on.
Why, yes, it is. Why, yes, it is. I wear nothing else.
Nothing else, nothing else. Very, very nice. And so when you are designing your next pieces, and if I see you on social media, I see the shoes, I see the socks, I see the blazers. When you are designing your next piece, what are you thinking? What's the inspiration behind that?
That's a good question. I've been asked that quite often. What I try to do is provide my clientele something that they won't find in Saks, Neiman Marcus, places like that.
Okay.
I design for the modern gentleman. An older gentleman can be a modern gentleman. A younger gentleman can be a modern gentleman. I try to keep them simple, but timeless, affordable, but unique, because all of our ties are made in limited quantity.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about somebody else having your tie when you go somewhere else.
I love that, yes.
So that's what my inspiration. I want every man has their own voice when it comes to their fashion, and they should be able to utilize that to express who they are, what they're about, and where they're planning on going in life.
Where they're planning on going in life. So for you, what's next? Are we sticking with the bow ties? Can we look forward to the I don't even know what I should, the Oxford?
I've been asked will I eventually move into doing more men's clothing lines as far as suits and shirts.
Okay.
But I think the next thing I'm planning on doing right now is part of the self-empowerment thing, but it comes from the way you dress and what you do with your life. It's called Go Do Be. Go somewhere you've never gone before.
Okay.
Do something you've never done before, and be the person you're meant to be.
Now say that again. Go do be.
Go do be. Go somewhere you've never gone before. Do something you've never done before, and be the person you're supposed to be. Wow. And that is my mantra, and I try to share that with as many people as possible, because it applies to everybody.
Yes.
Especially once you graduate from high school, when you're getting into college, we kind of do not take the full advantage of what we have once we get to college in our lives.
Yes.
So before we start having children and getting bogged down in our everyday life, we need to experience the world and what the world has to offer us, because it's only going to make us better as an individual.
That's
and
true.
every day we need to strive to be that perfect version of ourselves when we walk out the door.
Wow. I love it. Go, do, be. Guys out there in TV land, if you have questions, comments, we want to hear from you. Be sure to call in tonight. Mr. Clifford Franklin Robinson has some really great tips and tools, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind sharing with you if you do have any questions. And so I can't wait to see what's coming down the pipelines. I'm just excited about the Go, Do, Be and everything that you've got going on. So stay. We have some more of the rest of the show tonight talking about the cost of freedom and entrepreneurship. But now it is time to move into our mind, body, and spirit segment, guys. We've got, of course, the co-hostess with the mostest, Lakia Brandenburg, affectionately known as LB. LB, take it away.
How you doing, Nicole? Welcome to this week's Mind, Body, and Spirit segment, where we do our best to highlight different ways for you to incorporate wellness in your everyday life. We like to feed the mind, strengthen the body, and of course, empower that spirit. And I am so excited because today's very special guest is going to help us do that. Let me tell you a little bit about him, all right? He is a leader, a minister, entrepreneur, speaker, author, and he is exceptionally gifted for reaching the lost, motivating the masses, encouraging the heart, and of course, empowering the mind. He's known for his best-selling book, The Makings of a Champion, which reveals the keys of spiritual fulfillment and success. Please help me welcome Silee Williams to the show. Welcome, Silee.
Thanks a lot for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now listen, let me tell you something. One thing y'all don't know, Silee and I have been Facebook friends for many years, and this is our very first time meeting. It's amazing how life just kind of brings itself together and paths just cross. But for those who do not know, I know I've been watching him over the years. You've been doing some absolutely amazing things in the community. I've seen your growth. I guess I can say I've seen the witnessed the actual makings of a champion right here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what actually led you on this journey that you're on?
Absolutely. So thanks a lot for having me here tonight. I'm excited about being here. But, everything started for me back in 2011. Actually, when I started with speaking and writing books and those type of things, it actually was birthed out of me actually losing my job in 2011, which was July. And at that moment, I found myself at a crossroads by saying, what is it I really want to do next with my life? And so I started to really think about the things that I was gifted and talented in the areas where I was gifted and talented, and the things in which I really wanted to take my life to the next level. So that's exactly what I did. I kind of put myself out there, started doing those type of things, and started moving forward.
Come on in and give him the mic. Keep going, Silee.
Got it? All right. So kicked off myself when one thing led to the next, and then it led me to writing the book.
So it started with you first losing your job.
It did. That really helped to put things into the proper perspective for me to figure out what I wanted to do next. Because the truth of the matter is the job I was working, I was just working because it was just a job.
Okay.
Where most people find themselves at. But it wasn't something that I was really passionate about.
Okay.
So I felt like at this moment, it really gave me the opportunity to be able to chase the things in which I ultimately wanted to do in my life. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, like I said, I started with speaking. That's the number one thing I wanted to do as far as motivational speaking. And I started it actually by hosting a weekly conference call. Because at the time, I didn't have any audience. I didn't have any of those type of things that really pushed me in that direction, but I did have a telephone, right? So that's what I used. I started to utilize that. And I used
we all have that.
But the thing is, I started with limited supplies, but I went into it as if I had everything that I needed.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I like that.
So the confidence that I went into it is that I knew that the things that I was missing, those things would kind of come together as I continue to walk down the road.
But wait a minute. How did you know that? Because, see, you were forced into entrepreneurship, it sounds like.
Well, the reason I knew that is because if you look at any part of your life, that's exactly how it kind of things take place. Most people who really put themselves in positions to win never actually have everything that they need. They always kind of talk about how things started at such a small, limited place.
Okay.
But in that, other people who had the talents and things that you lack, oftentimes take notice of the things that you're doing and come along to kind of assist you in those areas.
Wow.
So I just kind of started in the same direction and seeing what was going to happen.
So the makings of a champion, that's exactly what it sounds like. It starts with you not knowing where you want to go sometimes, but somehow it all coming together. Tell us a little bit about this book.
Absolutely. So the book really kind of focuses on exactly what you said. So I really kind of broke it down into steps that helps people to understand what it is and to really locate where they are at this moment.
Okay.
So the book talks about understanding, just like for me, so many times events takes place in our lives where we think are pushing us outside of our purpose. But the book really highlights to let you know that not only are these events not necessarily pushing you outside of your purpose, but they're giving you the necessary things you need to equip you to be more efficient in the things in which you was called to be. So the only difference is the perspective in which you're using to look at these moments.
Wow.
So the book really kind of helps people to look at life a little bit different. And it all started from, like I said, from me looking at those things different. I found myself at an opposition, but understood that it really was an opportunity.
So you look at an opposition as an opportunity.
Absolutely. I think think about this. Every point in life always starts from an opposition, right?
He preaching, y'all.
Every opportunity is based out of a need or a lack.
Okay.
Think about this. This show started in the same place. There was a need for this show, which created an opportunity for it to be for it to come about.
All right.
So in every aspect of your life, when you find yourself at an opposition, you need to be able to look at it through the right lens or the perspective to figure out, what am I going to do with this moment? How can this actually help to benefit me and push me forward in the things I was called and made to do?
Absolutely. It sounds like you're speaking to the champion, everybody, whether in their viewers, if they're in the audience. So talk to that person who has a champion that needs to be awakened.
Well, I think that each person is a champion is really what the book talks about. But those things show up in different forms.
Okay.
So therefore, the events that take place in my life may be different to take place in your life, but those events all kind of come tailor-made, what I believe, to push you and give you the necessary tools you need to push your life forward. Wow. So I think that most of the time when we find ourselves at a crossroads, when we find ourselves at opposition, I think this is a great opportunity for anybody who's listening to be able to really reevaluate the things that are going on in your life and understand, like, what is it I want to do next? Okay. What if I find myself at this position? Most of the time we find ourselves at these crossroads without having any type of, let me say it this way, without sometimes leading ourselves here. So we kind of find ourselves here. Okay. So if this is where I found myself, what am I going to do with it to be able to put myself in the next position to propel my life?
Now, look, the show is all about being your own boss. My shirt says be your own boss. But can I be honest? Everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Everybody's not meant to be self-employed. Somebody has to answer the phone. So how do I know that even though I'm not in that position as an entrepreneur, that I'm still a champion? How do I still chase my passion? How do I still find my purpose?
Well, I think that's very interesting. Most of the times when we think about passion, when we think about purpose, we always we kind of tie those things to entrepreneurship, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean to be true. I think passion and champion comes when you feel like you're fulfilling the things in which you was created to be on the level in which you was created for.
Take notes.
So sometimes, and I think how that takes place is not letting everyone else around you define what success is, but you define it for yourself.
So where do I start with defining success? Because most people equate success with what? Money.
Well, I think that you have to be true about the things that you're really passionate about, and to kind of divorce yourself from all the other ideas and thoughts that everyone else told you was success. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that you need to see exactly, is this really important to me? Or is this important to me because everyone else said it should be important to me? And I think as you start to divide those two things into two different categories, it'll answer that question for you.
So what other things are you working on right now? We know that you have the book out right now, The Makings of a Champion. What other things are you working on?
Right. So right now I'm working on my next book, which I think will be out in August, I believe.
Well, wait a minute. Before you start talking about this second book, you shared with me off camera that you kind of tripped into the first book. Right. You weren't a writer. So how did that happen?
Absolutely. So how it happened is because of, like I said, so with my passion, one of the things I knew that I always had a passion for was with communicating.
Okay.
Right. But understanding that verbally communicating is also a limited source.
Right.
So I had to find myself, how else would I be able to do what I'm ultimately passionate about to reach people in different ways? And that's how writing the book came about. It all kind of leads back to what the centerpiece of what I'm passionate about, but it's just a different channel in order to be able to reach other people
and communicate.
Communicate. Exactly how writing.
So you're continuing to communicate with the second book. Tell us about the second project.
Yes. So my second project is called Exceptionalism, and so it kind of talks about understanding that each one of us was created to be exceptional in our own lane. Oh, wow. Right. So
Another bestseller, another
me,
bestseller.
it may show up in one way. For you, it may show up in the other. But understand that you were created to be exceptional. And so the book really talks about how to discover those things and be able to shine your brightest in the lane in which you was created to shine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So give us some sneak peeks into the chapters that are coming. Are you still in the drafting stages?
Well, right now, so the book is really kind of written in a different format. It's not necessarily so much chapter based, but really it's more so built upon like a daily devotion.
Okay.
So because I believe that in order to be able to understand that you are exceptional, you have to first get your thinking and thoughts in the right direction, right? So with that being said, the book really kind of is a daily devotional where you'll be able to read each day on things that help to condition your mind to be able to see yourself in a different way.
I wish you had your book with us today, because I would love for you to read from it so that we can hear some things that you got going on, especially with Makings of a Champion. But that's okay. We're going to talk about going into entrepreneurship, back into entrepreneurship. You are an entrepreneur. If I'm a viewer and I definitely know that I need to empower my spirit, how do I move into empowering my spirit on this journey of entrepreneurship?
Well, I think that's a good question. I think that for me, I would say is about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Okay, that's first. Surround yourself with the right people. How do I? Okay, I've been friends.
So let me tell you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. So
Let's
when it
go.
comes to entrepreneurship, I started off into my journey that really kind of stepped my foot into entrepreneurship was with starting my own publishing company. Now, how did that start?
Right.
By me having a conversation with you. Do you remember a few years ago I called you and I was asking you about how to be able to start a publishing company, and you kind of helped me get that started.
Wow.
So for me, I didn't necessarily have the right tools, but I knew you who was doing
power of
something
social media.
in the area in which I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And so I contacted you.
And that's
you gave me the steps on how that whole thing got started. So it's kind of funny that we find ourselves in this in this seating where really the things that you shared to me is what kind of started me on this journey in the first place.
So first, surrounding yourself around the right people, like Mr. Bowtie said.
Yeah,
Make sure you
absolutely.
are finding the people that are doing what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So secondly, what do I do?
Well, the second thing is that not only do I surround myself with them, I start to be able to speak the same language that they're speaking. Because a lot of times we can put ourselves in a company, we can kind of dab here and dab there, but it doesn't necessarily condition our minds in that focus.
Wow.
So with that being said, when I surround myself with the right people, I set the goals in which I want to accomplish. And let me say this, sometimes when it comes to goal setting, we kind of have everything planned out. And when it comes to goal setting, I think what's really important is that to be crystal clear about the goals that I want to happen, but to be flexible about how those things can take place.
Say that again.
Does that make sense?
Again.
Yeah, so I'm crystal clear about where I want to end up.
Yes.
I'm crystal clear about the expected end, but I'm flexible on how those things take place.
So set the intention, but trust the process.
Absolutely, absolutely, because those things will be able to come in different ways. Like I said, for me, it was running into you.
Right.
But I was flexible on, listen, people who's around me that I can be able to be in contact with, who's doing the things that I want to do so I can be able to equip myself with those.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's two. One more.
All right, so the third thing I would say is this. The first thing.
The first one was surround yourself around the right people.
Absolutely.
Number two, speak in the right language.
Absolutely. And three, I would say to actually put the action behind your words. So now that I've put myself in the right company, I understand the language in which I'm doing. Now it's time for me to be able to put action behind those things. And I think this is where the breakdown takes place between the people who are successful and the ones who are just kind of looking on the sidelines wishing.
Exactly.
Right? It's the action that I put into play. So I think that you should start from where you are. Like I said with me, I started with a conference call. Why? Because that's simply all that I had. But I had a vision for the things I wanted to do, but I maximized the moment where I found myself at this time.
Wow.
By putting action to it.
If your spirit hasn't been empowered by now, I don't know what will do it. But Silee, if you could actually leave us with a few more points, last minute words, anything you want to say for those who are out watching you right now who just need a few more words of inspiration.
Yeah, I would say just like me is that there's nothing, one of the things I often find myself with speaking with people is that people always talk about the roadblocks and things that they find in their lives. And so I want people to understand tonight there's nothing unique about that. That's just kind of the part of the process. So understand that if you find yourself in a position where there are roadblocks and obstacles, know that you're on the right road for success. And there's nothing that's more unique about the people that are here than you who are watching. The only difference is the people that are here on the stage continue to put action behind their words.
Continue to put action behind your words. Where can we connect with you? I know how to connect with them on social media, but how do we connect with you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. So my name is Silee. It's Silee. And I'm almost certain that no other Silee is going to pop up, right? So if you type that in, it most definitely will be me.
Spell it one more time for him.
So it's Silee. That's all you need. So
Silee.
Yeah, and it'll pop up. So it's Silee Williams on Twitter, I think my name is I am Silee. On Instagram.
Did you say I think my name is?
I don't use Twitter as much as I should.
What about Instagram?
On Instagram, my name is the same, so it's I am Silee.
All right, I am Silee. Wow. I don't know if you've been empowered, but I know I have been. Thank you so much for joining us today. Nikhol, what do you think?
Yes, I'm sitting here and I feel like he's talking to me. Yes. You know, I so appreciate that mind, body, and spirit segment, Silee and Lakia. The takeaway for me is the opposition, turning the opposition into an opportunity. And so guys out there, as you are watching, take note to that and all the other awesome things he said as well. But every hurdle, every obstacle isn't the end. Look at that opposition as an opportunity. And especially tonight as we're talking about entrepreneurship, the cost of freedom. We were just speaking with Mr. Clifford Robinson about being an entrepreneur, being self-employed, and some of the differences in between those and the things he's had to do to operate Clifford Franklin Design and his awesome photography work. But now we want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the sacrifice, because again, it's the cost of freedom. And we have another phenomenal guest that's coming to the show tonight. I want to welcome to the show Miss Stephanie Thomas. Charmaine Thomas is a successful businesswoman and also a proud mother of 6 and grandmother of 6. And I know she can probably write a book herself about what it means to sacrifice. But she is the president of WXRP Radio and also your friendly neighborhood realtor if you're here in the Atlanta metro area. So guys, please welcome to the show, Miss Stephanie Charmaine Thomas.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. And so, you know, we've worked together, so I know the sacrifice, I know the drive, I know what you do. Maybe not all of what you do, I know a little bit of it. But talk to us a little bit about your experience being an entrepreneur, being a female entrepreneur, and what are some of the things that maybe you've had to sacrifice along the way to get to where you are today?
Well, it's amazing. I fell into entrepreneurship by having children early. So I was pretty much forced into being an entrepreneur because a job
the opposition.
The job wouldn't pay me enough to pay daycare.
Okay.
For 4 children and then pay bills. Therefore, I started my own business. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So really, it wasn't a sacrifice for me. It was really a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
It gave me the opportunity to be at the PTA meetings. Mm-hmm. I had a chance to make my own schedules and be as flexible as I needed to be raising my children. So
definitely.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about what you are doing now, and just what you're doing, because I know you got your hands in a lot of different things.
Yes, I'm a serial businesswoman. My family and friends, I have worn them out. I'm looking for new friends, fresh friends who want to deal with me and all of my opportunist stuff that I have going on. But of course, you know, we have WXRP Radio, and we're doing some new things with that. And that's one thing about being an entrepreneur, is you have to really, there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can share things, you can read things, you know, but when you're behind the scenes on the paperwork and the vision, because some people are great at visions, but they're not good at implementing. Some people are good at implementing, but they're not good at the vision.
Yes.
So the thing is, you have to really start to know the asset that you are and get the other pieces around you. I can't say that enough.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Staying in your lane and acquiring the other pieces, kind of like what Silee was saying.
Those other pieces. In order to have a successful business, if you're lacking in some things, then your business is lacking. Now, we all have to know that you have to look at your business at a 5-year plan, at the very bare minimum. Most people don't, because most entrepreneurs are busy trying to keep their business and pay their household bills. And so that kind of keeps you limited on being patient enough
to go long term. But you really have to look and say, okay, at the end of this first year, it's not about the money, it's about the branding.
The second year, because you have to go on those steps to make the money. Most successful companies have been in their families for generations.
Yes.
It wasn't 2 or 3 years unless you invent something like Google or the computer. But if you're building a
Spanx.
traditional business, it has to be long term. You know, the other thing that I had an issue with, I own my own business since I was 20. So I've been in business for 26 years. So probably around year 17, 18, I've had some good successes. I've been a promoter. I've done a lot of things. I made some great money. But I kept saying, why haven't I made my $1 million yet? I'm really good. What is the problem? What am I missing? And I'm a word person. So one day I looked up the word entrepreneur. And you know what it said?
What did it say?
It said, a person who takes the risk for the sake of profit.
And so when you found that definition, what did that speak to you?
I was doing the wrong damn thing. Oh, I was doing the wrong thing. You work with me, Nicole. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was doing the wrong thing. So then I thought about it. Not Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson owns Starbucks. He doesn't drink coffee. I thought about some other people, and I said, you know what? I want to be Magic Johnson's little sister. Because business is business, imports and exports. So instead of being an entrepreneur, it was time for me to be a business person. Business is not always about vision. And sometimes it's entrepreneurs. I used to have a marketing and advertising company. And I used to do consulting. And the thing that rattled me the most is people had great vision, but no business. You know what to do with the polka dots? Man, look, we're going to get to the polka dots.
But right
we need
now,
to get the door. We need to get the door. So what I found was vision sometimes got in the way of business. Couldn't see clear to make the 5-year plan, to be outside of your emotions. And so that was one of the greatest things for me. And then I learned how to own businesses and not work for my businesses.
So in that, you said a lot of really good things. And Clifford, I see you sitting there like, man, because I'm sitting here like, yes. And those are some of the same things that I've kind of figured out along this journey as well, that stay in this lane, the difference between the entrepreneur and the business, and the business can't take care of itself.
Right.
So in that, how does one figure that you got it here, now we need to implement it? What's your advice on working that piece out? How do you get to the business?
You know, especially in our community, you cannot build an empire by yourself. And I know some people say, oh, people are difficult. And I'm telling you, I'm not the best team player. I'm just going to be honest, because I move very quickly and people ponder. I'm not designed that way. And so one of the things is you have to find the right people to work with. Now, I'm going to tell you what helps with entrepreneurs. Your vision. If you work with people who are not as passionate as you, then what happens is they can help you conduct business. If you're passionate, sometimes your emotions get in the way. I have a great girlfriend who has great vision of what she wants to do for the people, and she's tying it into her business. And I tell her, when you do interviews, let me do the interviews, please. She hires the saddest stories that you ever want to meet. Now, that's great for your passion. But this little lady who has no skills coming in here, you need her to sew these many garments at a certain period of time, ma'am, is not going to help you.
Yes.
So her sitting there doing the interviews won't help her select the best employees. You have to get somebody else, and they may not be in your business. They may just be a associate, or you just bring them in for a moment, not so much to blend your businesses, so to speak. So call on your resources.
So basically looking at what you're bringing to the table, and really truly knowing yourself as a person first,
yes,
and then as an entrepreneur, and then as a business person, and then again, as we've been saying, I hear the theme tonight, looking at your resources, going out and seeking additional services from other people to fill in those gaps.
Absolutely.
So in that, when we're talking about the sacrifices and the cost of freedom, and I love how you said, you were catapulted into being an entrepreneur because of children, but it wasn't a sacrifice. It's something that you were willing to do. Mm-hmm. For other people who are looking at that from a different standpoint, possibly looking at losing a job or having to just change things a little bit differently, how do you, I guess, speak to them about overcoming or making sacrifices, making the necessary sacrifices that do need to be made?
You know what? My biggest thing is I used to go to all these motivational speaking things, and they all said the same thing. You know what I mean? Hello, don't give up.
What did they say?
Don't give up. I'm like, well, how do I keep the lights on if I don't do that? You know what I mean? Because that is mostly what happens to folks. It's not that they don't have a dream. It's not that they don't believe in themselves, but those 30 days roll around so quick. Mm-hmm. And everybody doesn't have a husband that, can still make sure that the lights will be on. You know what I mean? Some people can't afford 30 days of no income. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yes.
And so for those who can't afford it, let me just say this: limit your risk. Work your business on a small scale while you still work your job, or take the opportunity to save money to give yourself 6 months. I found jobs are some of the easiest things to get. You don't have one, you go find another. You know what I mean? So yeah, give yourself a chance.
And that sounds just like what Mr. Robinson said, earlier about the differences between being an entrepreneur and being self-employed, is that you position yourself where you need to be right now to take care of right now, and also to help you establish what's coming in the future. And so, guys, if you're out there, I know you're watching and listening, take heed. LB said take notes. Again, I think that that's one of the things where we sometimes feel bad about ourselves because we can't get going as quickly as we want to. And we have to depend on that 9 to 5. So if you're listening, guys, understand that what I hear everyone saying, and even Mr. Silee, is that it's okay. It's okay to use what you have, conference call, whatever, 9 to 5, to do what you've got to do right now so that you can continue to build and establish on where it is you're trying to go. I love it.
And life is so short. You got to give yourself a chance.
Yes.
Let me just say this. Life is so short. Most of us will not live past 70. For those of you who are 40, you got 30 good years left. Okay? So, give yourself...
Wait.
But I always use that for time is of the essence.
Yes.
You keep waiting, and give yourself a chance. And I promise you, when you give yourself a chance, somebody else will give you one as well. People will come aboard, but vision cannot, like Silee said, not only about talking. You have to have action. People can't get on a wagon that's not moving.
That's
and
true.
Especially real business people.
That's true.
I've heard so many visions and see so much stuff on paper. You can save the paper. Because I see you because I see you moving. I seen you when you were only here like Nikhol. Now all of a sudden you have your show. You're putting all this marketing material. But I seen you when you were just on WXRP. So again, money will start to come because actions speak louder than words. Real investors understand that. So with your little paper and your little proposal, you ain't done nothing yet. Good luck.
So basically, she just told you all, you got to get out there and you've got to put some action behind the goal, behind the vision board, and the goal setting. You've got to put some action behind it. And I guess, if I had to ask you for a piece of advice for someone who's out there who's looking, they're searching, they have the desire, they're trying to figure it all out, but sometimes it gets tough because it's tough. It's tough. Sacrifices, working it all. What would you say to them? What would you say to that person that needs that inspiration and motivation today to keep going?
Just try. I promise you. If you'd have asked me 5 years ago what I would be doing, I wouldn't say owning a radio station. What happens is when you try, you start to bump into things and you bump into people. But if you sit in the house and keep Googling and keep thinking, I'm not saying don't Google. You can start there to inspire yourself, but you got to start. Go help other people out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come into a TV set like this and you say, whoo, I think this is what I was meant to do. But you never get that if you've never been on a TV set. Mm-hmm. So that is the biggest thing. Start to explore by doing, being a part of things. And I promise you, your passion, you don't have to find your passion. Sometimes your passion finds you.
Finds you. You hear that a lot. So you find your purpose.
Yeah, like T.D. Jakes said, if you can't figure out what your purpose is, find your passion. Your passion will lead you to your purpose. So that's what it pretty much is all about. And don't succumb to the fear.
Yes.
About being an entrepreneur, stepping out on the face.
And we already broke, so you know what I mean. You already broke. What you got to lose? That was my thing. I can't get no broker. So
I can't get no broker. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what you got to lose?
Too funny. So tell us what you got going on, and so we know where we can find you and get into all of that.
Well, definitely check us out on WXRP Radio. We have a lot of good things coming up. I want to tell y'all, we're working on an art exhibit that will feature Black greatness, males only. So we're working on that. That is going to be great.
Cliff?
So I'm really excited about that. So you can check us out on all social media, WXRP. Stephanie Tomei. I put the Charmaine in the Thomas. Okay, Stephanie Charmaine Thomas on Facebook, and just stay in touch.
Awesome. And so, Cliff, where can we get more information about Clifford Franklin?
I've been told by a lot of people that I need to be more social media savvy. You can find me on Facebook under Clifford Franklin. You can find us there, cliffordfranklin.com. Twitter, Cliff_Franklin. Instagram, Clifford_Franklin. And
you make it simple. Make it simple.
Cliff Robinson Photography on Facebook.
Awesome.
Definitely just Google the bow tie photographer.
Awesome.
There you are.
There you go. So guys, we still have a lot more show left. So if you got questions for either Cliff or Stephanie or Silee, definitely be sure to call us up. We want to hear from you and get you the information that you need and that you're looking for to grow in the area of entrepreneurship. And so now it has come to the segment where we do our artist showcase, and we've got LB on the floor. LB.
Hey. Thank you so much for all that wonderful wisdom you shared. Charmaine, you are crazy. Welcome to the artist segment where we actually feature some individuals who have something very important to say. When I tell you spoken word, when I tell you rap, I'm so excited to hear from this next artist. His name is Sir Ghandi, and he's going to be giving us a little part of him. It's called A Part of Me. Give it up for Sir Ghandi.
Thank you. How y'all doing today? Good folks? My name is Sir Ghandi, and I'm gonna drop something for y'all and give y'all something worthwhile. I see right now in the city of Atlanta there's a lot going on music-wise, but I want to give them something a lot different against the grain of what's going on right now. That's gonna help, out in the long run. So with that being said, we finna get it going right now. We got the music. Yeah. Yeah.
Sir Ghandi.
Yeah.
Man, I look around and
I just want y'all to understand that I'm gonna
I
give
see
them
my
something
people, they need
that
something
that's gonna
worthwhile,
be
man.
beneficial.
So I'm gonna give it to
Check
them.
it.
They say I'm narcissistic cause I feel myself strictly. But yeah, really, I'm killed without the K, get me. Compose art like Mozart, a mean sickness. You need to reinvent your style with some creativity. I pity you not, to me cause y'all the perfect strangers. Ready or not, I'm the perfect storm, so you in danger. The way I plan a halo with thoughts till mine's in danger. You would've thought I had white wings and archangel, but really folks, I'm just a simple man pacing. Right life on the lines cause I don't believe in tracing. Was born to be a star, it was all in my creation. I raised the bar cause nowadays they too content with basic. Let's face it, they need a voice to make noise for the South, and Sir Ghandi is the man, word of mouth. They're sleeping while I'm seeking different ways to increase up my clout. Georgia Power, I done put they lights out. Yeah, my undeniable will separate me from the rest. The future look promising, claiming I'ma be the best. They curse for the worst, but I'm considered to be blessed. I speak life to the people cause this wisdom I possess. So I give my fellow people something worthwhile. Give my fellow people something worthwhile. Show my heart to the world and watch the earth smile. God child, cause my passion make it work. Okay, I'm Not the typical, I'm overly incredible. Your boy so sick, you better drug up on some Theraflu. When I get to spitting, I cause fevers to shoot through the roof. A chillin' sign that flow down your spine, something so soulful. Talking goosebumps from your scalp head to your tippy toe. Cause you have been delivered from that poison to these healing flows. Cause I'm a warrior for life and a messenger directed by the Father up above to come and handle you and help you out too. Cause Lord, what I provide to you, this what you call tough love, bringing the best inside of you out to the forefront. Shine as bright as you want, but don't forget to mention it. Give glory to the Holy One, cause he's the only one omnipresent son in the universe, and he will take what he gave from you. So remember that tip and don't slip. Hold your square down in the world and uplift, Mister. Separate me from the rest. The future look promising, claiming I'ma be the best. They curse for the worst, but I'm considered to be blessed. I speak life to the people, cause this wisdom I possess. So I give my fellow people something worthwhile. Give my fellow people something worthwhile. Show my heart to the world and watch the earth smile. God child, cause my passion make it worthwhile. God's my witness, I was never religious, but in my heart, I was spiritually in it. My intuition been telling me this world is sitting and folks be selling their souls just to get in a position. It's sad to say, cause tomorrow not promised today. I contemplate on the day the Lord return to this place. I know he gon' disagree with they devilish ways. That's why I pray, cause I wanna get into heaven gates. Cause they don't understand, life too short to be wrong. Easy content to be weak, but hard to stand to be strong. A vicious cycle that's affecting everyone that get on. That's why I speak the fruits of life, cause my compassion is grown. Listen, my only hope is that the people will catch it and understand what I convey through the root of my message. Yeah, Mahatma Ghandi taught a powerful lesson that civil disobedience will outpower these devils. Take it to another level. Yeah, the future look promising, claiming I'ma be the best. They curse for the worst, but I'm considered to be blessed. I speak life to the people, cause this wisdom I possess. So I give my fellow people something worthwhile. Give my fellow people something worthwhile. Show my heart to the world and watch the earth smile. God child, cause my passion make it worth. Now when I say help, y'all say hop. Help, help. When I say help, y'all say hop. Help, help. Sir Ghandi, one love, y'all. Peace. All day, every day.
Let's give it up for Sir Ghandi. Okay, look, the first artist that came to mind, Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I promise you.
I really look forward to working with artists like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and I really want to bring back that authentic Atlanta sound, what it was all about, what hip hop was all about, and I want to give a shout out to Goody Mob and Outkast, because I want to bring back something that the people can resonate with, that is the people voice, that is an extension of the people, and it's going to move them in a way where it's not only going to give them something worthwhile, but it's going to give them something that they can spread for generations to come.
How long have you been rapping?
I've been doing it since I was 2 years old, like, what's up? But then, I actually originally was doing it when I was about 7 years old. That's when I first got into it with my uncle. They was like 19, I'm 7. They were trying to make me a little Bow Wow protege, but I actually switched and did something totally different because I resonated more with what was real than what was gimmicky. So that's pretty much what I did. I've been doing it ever since I was 7, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm 24 now, and I'm bringing great stuff. Right here, this project right here, a part of me, the album, 16 tracks, an hour long. Great music. I recommend y'all go check it out. You want to get it? Hit me up at my website, sirghandi.com, www.sirghandi.com.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ghandi. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you back on the show.
I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I have to say, guys, and I don't do a lot of talking when I really know people, but I have to say that Sir Ghandi, I have seen him grow. He actually was one of my students years ago when he was in high school. So I have seen the transition, the transformation from a young male to an awesome man who knows where he's going as an artist, as an entrepreneur, and as a father. And so I'm so proud of you. So very proud of you. And it's worthwhile. Worthwhile. So guys, again, awesome segment. We are here. This has been the Being Your Own Boss show. We're talking about the cost of freedom, and we have now on the stage with us Silee Williams, Mr. Clifford Robinson, and Miss Stephanie Charmaine Thomas. You guys have been phenomenal guests tonight in helping to shed light on the ins, the outs, the trials, the tribulations, the glamour, the glitter of all of what is kind of wrapped up into being a business person, being an entrepreneur. And I said tonight, I feel like all of you all have been talking to me. Even as a businesswoman and an entrepreneur myself, I've learned so much from each of you in your segments and what you're bringing to the table, from being a minister and a motivational speaker, a photographer and fashion designer and realtor and radio founder. It's just phenomenal because all of our stories are different. But at the core, there are a lot of similarities, and that there are sacrifices that we do have to make. There are things that we have to set aside to do to continue to strive to where it is we're trying to go. And success, you said, it's what your vision of it is, but it's also what you make it. Right. So I would ask you guys to think deep, to dig deep, and think about any lasting thoughts for our audience. Everything that you said when I asked you for your last pieces of advice were really, really good, but so much has come up since you guys last presented. But any lasting moments or words of wisdom or encouragement that you'd like to leave with the viewers tonight? Mr. Robinson, we'll start with you.
Wow. First thing I want to say is that I'm a fashion enthusiast.
Oh, fashion enthusiast.
Yeah.
Why didn't you correct me a long time ago?
That's okay. No, this is your show. You can say what you want. But the reason why I say that is because I think that I'm at the beginning stages of it.
Okay.
I would love to be called a fashion designer. Okay. But there are more people who have been doing this for years, more people who have a little bit more talent, a little bit more training than I do,
okay,
who have earned the right to call themselves a designer.
Gotcha.
So I tell everybody out there, all the audience people, the millions of people watching, I am an enthusiast.
I love it.
Who just with a sense of fashion.
All right.
So
I'll take it.
So what I would like to say to everyone out there, as far as my last words, is that, like you said before, trust the process. Mm-hmm. Have faith. You have to step out on faith. I did it. I went from making 60 to doing 11, still living in the 50. So you have to step out on faith. Surround yourself with good people. Great advice you gave, because you're only going to go as far
as your
network.
Yes.
And have fun.
I'm glad you said that.
You have to have fun doing it. If it's meant for you to do and you're stressed about it, you're not supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
So have fun. Like you only said that, your life is, you have a life expectancy of 70. I'm trying to hit 90 myself personally. But life is not promised tomorrow. So you definitely need to live for today. Plan for tomorrow, but live for today. And enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the moment.
Definitely. Thank you, Silee.
Let me say this is one thing I was thinking about when he was talking, and it really kind of brought me back to the conversation Lakia and I was having. Is that so many times people want to follow after their dreams, but they find themselves in stumbling blocks. But one thing I was thinking about is that the fact that you feel that there's something that's stopping you from doing those things shows you that you have value.
Wow.
Because if you think about it, you've never heard of anybody ever robbing a homeless person, or you've never heard anybody casing a homeless joint, a homeless shelter. Why? Because there's no perceived value there. Okay. So the fact that there is perceived value, the fact that there's an attack happening in your life or things that makes you feel like you want to stop lets you know that there's value.
Awesome. I love that. And Stephanie, quickly?
The thing is, I want to share, if you're just getting started, don't share your vision.
Wow.
Until you are fully girded by God. Because people's opinions, and sometimes they don't mean to, will kind of throw you, well, maybe I should add this, or maybe, that kind of thing. So don't speak until God has you fully girded, and that takes the fear away. When you're fully girded, you be like, whatever. You keep right on. You knock them nose naysayers to the side. So make sure that you're fully girded.
Awesome. I love it, guys. Those of you out there in TV land, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's show. As we close out each and every show, I want to make sure you know and understand that it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you'll go through in the future, whether it's your career, career, personal life, health, mind, body, or spirit. Your healing is just a journey away. Be sure to tune in next week, guys, as we continue with the cost of freedom. Same time, same place. We'll be talking about females, the glass ceiling, females in business, and talking about the costs and sacrifices that women have to make in order to be the best that we know we can be.
Noise for the South, and Sir Ghandi is the man, word of mouth. They sleeping while I'm seeking different ways to increase up my clout. Georgia power, I don't put they lights out. Yeah, my undeniable will separate me from the rest. The future look promising, claiming I'ma be the best. They curse for the worst, but I'm considered